Happy Thursday. So I kind of touched on this topic the other day, but I was thinking about it during my cardio this morning, so I thought I'd, jump on it again for a minute, at least for this ride over here to get this business handled. Well, first off, my cardio went well. I had to take 2 days off because, I really do think it had something to do with jumping up my weight on my front squats, which is fine. Your upper back, until you get, as you're progressively overloading on front squats, at least for me, my upper back is taking some damage. So when your upper back is taking some damage, it's gonna affect things like twisting and all that stuff. So my riding, just wasn't gonna happen yesterday, and I probably just needed the 2 days of rest anyway. Like I said, I'm doing 2 days, 3 days a week, pretty intense. I mean, half an hour of strides, and then, doing, progressive overload strength training. So, and I cut down my volume to an amount that is, feasible within a time frame, but a lot more work, a lot, heavier sets, and just, a lot more grinding on the body. So, I'm not no spring chicken. I'm not a young man anymore. So, I gotta listen to my body. I gotta let my body recover. So we're gonna hit back today. I have to hit incline press and shoulders and back. I do OHP, I think once a week now. Unfortunately, I'm only doing OHP once a week. I'm doing lateral raises on Saturdays for my shoulders, but I'm doing incline press twice a week. So I had to switch it around a little bit. Not very happy about it, but hey, like I said, I have to set the volume at a rate that's gonna deal, or at an amount that's gonna deal with, or be able to handle the volume or the deficit that I'm in, the caloric deficit. When I was in a surplus, I could go crazy, but I don't have that kind of energy anymore because slowly my carbs are coming down, slowly my calories are coming down. Every time I lose 5 pounds, I lose 6 calories per day. So over time, that adds up, it ends up being a substantial amount once you lose like 25 pounds, so you gotta do what you gotta do. But the big thing is, the changes in the macros. The macros change, and next thing you know, I only have 172 grams of carbs per day. So, calories go down. Next thing you know, you only got 150 grams of carbs per day. Carbs is what fuels your workouts. No carbs, you start feeling like tired, drained. I mean, it's just, the side effects are endless of trying to work out with, close to 0 carbs in your system. So, and I got a lot of muscle on my body, so that, the double whammy. So what I want to talk about that I touched on the other day, not very long, I kind of went into my, little rant about myself. I apologize, but I do think that those little things that I talk about during my process can help you, because they're little adjustments that I have made, over the course of this, idea or whatever you want to call it, that have got me to where I am, which is, cutting in a way that's enjoyable for me and not depleting myself down to nothing, not crash dieting. So, listen to the stuff or don't listen to the stuff. I don't, it's free information, so whatever. So this is very important. You really have to capture this idea of, you cannot be doing this, getting lean, getting trim. You cannot be doing this for other people or for external motivation, because one day that will go away. I did that before. There was a time when my fuel was, these people think I can't do it. I know they think I can't do it. And then when I did it, I didn't have the willpower or the motivation to continue living in that way. I mean, obviously I was crash dieting, so that's another thing. Sorry, I got a little hair. I was crash dieting, and so that's not sustainable either. But see, that's the thing. If you do it for external reasons, sorry, I gotta open my window. sorry. But if you do it for that external, you know, like gratification, then you will run out of fuel, and you will do things that are psycho in order to get the weight off, and you will like crash diet and do these things to like quickly get results, when that's like the most unhealthy thing you could do physically and mentally for yourself. Do this whole thing for you. Just like, you know, these videos are for you if you're an ectomorph or a mesomorph. You know, so you shouldn't even be watching these videos if you're an ectomorph or a mesomorph. These are videos for endomorphs. If you're not an endomorph, then you don't even need to be on here. You know? And that's what I'm saying, you know, like you will go to, you know, you will find yourself looking for answers in areas that are not sustainable if you're trying to do this for everybody else. Yeah, you know, there's the people that want to do it because they're, you know, they're intrinsically, you know, wanting to get this weight off and all this other stuff. But most of the time I see it as one of these things where people care a lot about the way that they look, or they want to get this person, or they want to show people and all this other stuff. You know what you'll do if you crash diet? You'll show people that it's not sustainable. That's all you'll do, and no one cares about what you did. Just like, you know, my situation from the past. No one cares about the fact that I was 10%. People care about the fact, can you maintain that weight? And that, you know, I'm not doing it for anybody else. I tell you that right now. I mean, anyone that knows me knows what my attitude is, so I don't have to sit here and, you know, explain myself. But, you know, do it because you want to do it for yourself. And the way I look at it is, don't even let that whole thing with people, get you in a position where, don't even let that whole thing with people watching you or seeing what you're doing or wanting to know what you got going on, don't even let that stuff even like get you down mentally. Because what'll happen is this: people will just be like looky-loos in your life. They'll just want to look at you and see what you're doing and try and get an understanding of, oh, you know, what is that person got going on, you know, or what are, you know, how are they doing this or whatever. Usually people just want something to talk about. And, you know, I don't want to go down that road because I've done a lot of videos about that. If you want to know about life, go back and watch the old videos. But, you know, I know I'm all over the place today, but that's fine. You know, that's why I do these videos. I just turn the camera on and I go. The main thing is, though, I've been down that road, and I know if you're doing it for a chick, if you're doing it for a dude, or if you're doing it for a woman or whatever, you know, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. Girl, boy, if you're doing it for those external reasons, what happens if that person's not even in your life anymore? What happens if, even if you get your weight down, that person doesn't want to have anything to do with you? They're just not interested in who you are. What happens if that's the case? Then, you know, you may fall back into eating. You know, if you're an emotional eater and you don't get the reaction out of people that you want, because I'm telling you right now, you know, you may build it up in your head that everyone's gonna care once you lose all this weight. They're not gonna care. Some people may say, oh, you know, at first, but people are living their own lives. People don't really care. Most of the time, people are just, you know, if you are gonna get something, you're probably gonna get just like, you know, a little attention and then it'll be gone. Now, if you're trying to do this for like a business, or you're trying to inspire people and all that other stuff, well, that's different. But you have to make sure that, I mean, even I've seen people that have done this for those reasons, that are inspiring people, and they've even had like these ups and downs, you know. A lot of people have done the whole, like, you know, lose weight, gain weight, and, you know, it takes them a while to find that rhythm, you know. And if that's the case, then fine, but let that be the reason why you do it. Let finding that rhythm and trying to have a sustainable eating pattern that's going to keep your weight off. Let that be your reason for doing this. Don't do it for other people, because other people don't really matter. If it's your kids that's motivating you, great. But at the end of the day, it's your health. Your kids aren't the ones that are slamming food in your mouth. You are. So, you're going to do it for your kids. Do it because you yourself inside of you want to be here so you could take care of your kids. That's wanting to be alive, man. Do it for that reason. Don't do it because, oh, my kids, I think my kids. Don't do it for those reasons. Do it because inside of your heart, I want to be here for my kids. I want to be here to take care of my kids. I want to see my grandkids. Do it for those reasons. Do it because you want to go hiking with your partner, and you want to be able to go out and, hike mountains, or you want to be able to go to a city and walk around the city all day without your feet hurting or your knees hurting or getting tired. Do it because you want to be able to get out of bed easily in the morning. Do it because you want to have the confidence to, go crazy when you're having sex or anything like that. Just those kinds of things. Things that are going to be, rewarding to you. Things that are going to make you feel great within yourself. Don't do it for other people. Don't do it to get attention. Don't make these adjustments because you think in your mind that you're just going to be like this famous person like the people that are online, because it doesn't work like that. It's so much more that goes into it than that. There's so many people that are in good shape. There's so many people that have made tremendous transformations and no one cares. No one even knows who they are. There's a lot of people that make transformations that never put up videos or pictures or anything online because they're doing it for themselves. They're doing it for their health. They're doing it because they love themselves and they want to be around and have good health and have the lifestyle that in their mind will be the most rewarding for them. Happy Thursday.